Lock the door real quick because we're doing poetry and you guys gotta not leave as Patrick leaves.
Rowan and Tom both. Like, he threatened with a dog.
Well, I just thought with poetry itself is the thing. Patrick actually locking the door. Alright, so this is from my collection, More Useful Words for Useless People. Useful words for useless people. I stood in a house covering dead dogs and war whistles. I stood on the graves of people only remembered for the blocks that desperately display their titles. I stood here in silence because the hardest thing I've had to say is I have no clue what to say. Words are heavy unsaid and heaviest unthought. Reading farther in the text that you don't send and the ones that you do. We're excited for a day that we don't know will come, so we ripped out our eyes just to see what they'd look like. We found ourselves standing underneath the moonlight. Our shadows constricted till the whole road was airtight, and though you died, I lacked the skill to articulate a remedy for death. How can I stop time with only these hands? What useless hands. I would not splatter words off a tongue that holds no value. I would not shed a tear off a mantle of promise I periodically pander to only when I'm the one who prospers. I've constantly paraded myself as a pariah when I can no longer stand the presence of others. I claim my bones as a singularity, like glow blading shoulders elect the ambition I inspire. You wasted death as I sit here wasting life, jotting useful words for useless people. How to die young. First, get the call as your mother comes into work to get you. Try to remain calm as words like cardiac arresting coding permeate between sobs. Try to reclaim the roads that falls around you. Simple teeth evolve teeth of demonstrous ideology. Brace yourself for the fall to the floor before the collapse to the floor. Then, as your legs give out walking into the hospital, gaze upon your family sitting in a circle of chairs. Tears, hard betrayal, threats at a God's vile hands, the first gathering in years. Hold in pain when you go back to see her. Attempt to comprehend the machinery keeping her alive. The doctor's jargon echoing in your ears. The tubes in her throat, her veins, her bladder. Face the coma. Whisper with the heart it takes to scream. And be no closer to piercing the veil that consumes her. Know she died. Know her current situation is much worse. That dying is worse in present tense. Hold her hand, but know there will be no reaction. Take her life upon you. Make calculated decisions on how much torment you're selfishly willing to put another life through as our body systematically fails with a precision you couldn't dream possible. Hear those words. Low chance of survival, sickest in the hospital, ECMO machine, blood clots, amputation. Watch her fade from this world. No, you weren't there enough. Think of all the fights, all the missed calls, all the chances not taken. Surround yourself with drowning bodies. Mourn what used to be. Watch her come back. Grow hopeful. Watch her fade. Disappear within yourself. Hold on to anything to ground yourself. Dream of funerals. Live those dreams. Stop planning for the end. Act like you can do that. Grow tired of dying each time you look at her face. Stop looking at faces altogether. Laugh. Don't forget to laugh. Pretend to be human. Go to work, eat, sleep, breathe, all while she does none. Go out with friends, drink, smoke, claw your way out. Hold on to anything with a semblance of anything. This is how you die young. This is my first published poem I've ever wrote when I was like 18-ish. Uniform musician. When I was a boy, I dreamed of being a musician, feeling the twang of the guitar in my hands, screaming fans, bellowing chants, raising their arms in Nazi-like devotion. So when I was drafted, I dreamed. An AK-47 became my guitar, shredding its keys and blasting a melody so bold. Strapped over my shoulders, I waltzed the battlefield. The crowd loved it. Damn, did they scream. Screamed and barked for their comrades to tune in. And so as I lit the air, and so as I killed, I dreamed. Only 12 years of age, but with pipes worn from use, I sang. I sang in echoing screams and shattering cries. Sang into my mic with a scope as I eyed it down. Sang as bodies dropped before me like dominoes. Bandmates fell off stage and dives caught only by the ground, but I was too drugged to care. Performers loved drugs because their art was too beautiful to bear, and I was no different than Elvis himself. I strung my violin against the throat of a traitor attempting escape, a symphony of his pleas. I spent a lot of time wondering later why so little their lives meant to me. As I dispersed my Mozart in a canny flavor and bullets riddle a sonnet, each chorus laced with blood and vomit. I was just a musician squeezing my life to art, and that was just reality that painful and deadly art could be. This next one's very important to me. If you don't know who Brianna Gay is, she was a UK trans woman that was buried under her dead name due to her family and laws there. So this is called Buried as a Man. I'm begging you to bury me within my own skin, not this fucking cage of binary sin, the skin that gets to breathe, to live, to feel, to carry on the life expectancy, that gets the privilege of such luxuries as natural causes. and gets to be the me I see within my head, not the tainted me, the me built in bounds of fear, of hate, of vitriol, or of idealized fantasies whispered in sexual corners. I'm begging you to bury me within my own grave, not some hole marked by another name. And I can still recall seeing someone like me, old and gray, and thinking, I didn't know we got to live that long. Just a martyr to be called by my name, a body crafted of pitfalls and other trappings, tripwires and desperate desires to wear skin that finally matches when my real identity is missing between poetry and scraping myself off bathroom walls. Let me exist. I'm begging you just to let me exist, to be buried not as a man but as me. I'm begging you to bury me within my own grave. This next one's about my grandfather who passed away recently. The old man's eyes reflected years of pain, stress wearing into his wrinkles and finding refuge in his bags, their slow movement indicating the weight they bore. The old man's mouth reflected years of glee, wide toothless grin formed with years of exposure, radiating a loved one with only so many years could show. The old man's body reflected years of hardship, each painstaking movement eating away at the clock, robotic in its minimalism to keep from tiring. The old man's expression flooded with longing, staring at the walls for pictures of flashbacks that hardly remain, remembering a time when innocence was still found. The old man's life is a roadmap, each little detail, every feature telling some new tale to tell, and I studied it, studied what I would become, what I wanted to become, the old man that would cultivate me to bring forth a new legacy to the name we both bear. Another disappointing prose. Punch the keys, damn it. Find something, anything to pull from, any drop of blood left untainted, anything to breathe a sense of distinguishable meaning from an otherwise vacant life. Words are, in essence, an isolated, tangible immortality, so drop blood on the canvas until it speckles a masterpiece. Don't pull away a second sooner, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you want to scream with a deafening crash of 17-syllable semantics. Please write. I want the pages to fucking love me. I want the words to go deft and dim beneath my grin. I want the pen to fucking fear me. I want the road to fucking love me. In truth, that's all I ever wanted, someone to notice I was here. Punch the keys, damn it. Pretend for a single second that anything matters. Throw away years of therapy to conjure up the perfect feet. Punch the keys, damn it. Um, 10 seconds build forever. Death is real. There's no metaphor to stack or hide behind a poem to make it any less itself. It's those empty seconds right after walking in a room to find you, only to realize you're still not there. It's more in the moments I forget than the times I remember. It's Herculean, it's Lovecraftian, it's so beyond the word that silence bears its whole load, and every time I close my eyes I'm met by those pulsing globes that greedily mimic life from within an empty vessel. Eyes that linger in that unbroken awe that saw that great whatever in their last few seconds. Such a deep emptiness that words can never attempt to recreate, that words will never reach, that all an emptiness that speaks to me whenever I'm alone, but catatonic silence wails and you no longer fill my air. It's not for learning from or growing out of, but simply to be there. It's not poetic, there's no meaning, it's not poetic, there's no art in death, it's just there. A single second builds a forever without you, and a forever without the me that had you. As your body transforms into something beyond our existence, I stared into nothing, and nothing stared back. A deep, empty pit that thrashed out violently, sucking away at the essence of everything. Death is real. I'm shown death is real, and I'm still here to love you. The divine feminine. Not all men, but 1 in 3 women will have their identities stolen from them, their bodies retooled, their skins repurposed. The bloody-handed perpetrators of boys will be boys, men will be men, pigs will be pigs. 1 out of my 4 sisters, even more my friends, hundreds of thousands I'll never meet when women are playthings in the eyes of men with power. Not all men, but 1 out of 176 will win the lottery. 1 out of 3.7 million will be eaten by sharks. 1 out of 103 will die in car crashes. Not all men, but 1 out of 3 women will be sexually assaulted before 18. 1 a minute, every minute, each time ticking closer to a face I know. Men who carry smooth talk like brandy. Men who wield charming smiles like forest fires. Not all men, not all nuclear bombs, not all raging bulls, not all men, but enough. And I just have a few newer pieces that I will... We tried to get in.
You told me to look?
Yeah, silly. It's okay. Life be like that. An expansion of quantum theory. There are only so many parallel universes out there that concern me. In one, I missed breakfast, a subtle change that didn't amount to much. In another, he isn't dead, and I have nothing to mourn. And in a third, I never left and thus didn't make it far. I never published a book, never picked up my first camera, so scared I hid my talents close instead. In one, I was born into the right body. She never had to swallow her name wrong. Maybe she can even look in the mirror and not want to cry. In one, I did an OD. In another, I died that night. In a far one, I adapted to living in caves, had no need for eyes, and ingested my surroundings by touch alone, fingers growing a foot long. In one, I can photosynthesize. In another, I'm famous for singing opera. In a million, I'm a crab. In a billion, I'm too far gone. But in this one, I have you. So this is the only one that concerns me. I can still hear your AC/DC records reverberating from the kitchen. A kitchen now filled with another family, living another life, unaware the music was ever there. Each day was like that record. We'd fall into patterns, repeat the same chords, only changing slightly with each passover, and the needle chips directly into the grooves, forever altering the flow the imperceivable amount. I own the records now, but they never really get played. Collecting dust under my TV, just as your number goes unused in my phone, the call log bypassing any remnants long ago. We'd call on Tuesdays. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but we'd call on Tuesdays. And now I have this little ritual where once a week I sit there and I stare at your number and I contemplate playing a record, only I never do. I miss when music meant something. I wish this poem had a satisfying ending, but nothing really does. Things don't end in a grand final line, and neither did you. I just don't even remember your final last words, just that you fizzled out. And now I have your records, and one day I'll play them, and I'll dance, and I'll die all the same. And I have one more. You didn't show it often, but sometimes you'd tell me about the birds and cicadas and trees, and we'd sit across from each other and pondering how beautiful nature could be. You didn't show it often, but you'd smile in a way that made me feel safe. The bones of brushy beard unraveling to show gummy grin. And I hope when I'm old I can feel I can smile at someone like that and have them feel safe, feel seen. You didn't show it often, but you had a knack for seeing the beauty of mundane. You'd go to zoos, turn your back to the primates and tigers, and we'd catch you staring at the trees. And you'd make some comment about their age as if you raised them from a sapling yourself. You'd call me up and tell me about the blue jays and sparrows and geese and cardinals, and for a moment I forget about the speed of existence. You didn't show it often, but you loved life, your life. Despite it all, despite every hardship, you were content. More so, you were happy just to be staring at cicadas and trees. That's everything I got for you guys.